What lengths would you go to try and achieve the things you want to achieve? What are you willing to do to make your dreams a reality? Would you quit your high-paying job to pursue your passion? Would you sell everything you own to live out of a van and go rock climb? Would you walk 100 miles just to take a photograph of somebody that you respect? This is the Impossible Portrait Project, Part 1, Tom Segura. My name is Chris Tejas. I'm a portrait and wedding photographer based in Baden, Ontario, which is 100 miles away from Buffalo, New York. That's going to be important in a minute. I've got a list of people that I want to photograph. Writers, musicians, mentors, spiritual teachers, and a few comedians. These are all people that have inspired me in some way or another, and probably the biggest name on that list is Tom Segura. But how do you convince one of the biggest comedians in the world to let you photograph them? I knew it had to be something big, I knew it had to be something ridiculous, and I knew it had to be something impressive in a way that Tom would actually find impressive. Right around the time I started thinking about this, Tom and Bert announced their 5K run that they were doing, and my wheels started turning because they were talking about all these like badass people that were running it, and people like Cam Hanes and other ultra marathoners that they really looked up to and thought like, damn, what they're doing is wild. And I started thinking like, okay, if this impresses him, if he thinks that's interesting, if he thinks that is a wild thing to do, that's right up my wheelhouse. That's the kind of shit that I like to do. Then I saw that Tom had a show in Buffalo. See, I wanted to see Tom perform forever, and I've never really gotten the chance. And Buffalo was a perfect opportunity for me to meld these two ideas together. Buffalo is about 100 miles away from my hometown and was the perfect distance for me to consider walking all the way just to take Tom's portrait. So what if I packed up all my camera gear, some clothing, some food, and I walked all the way to Buffalo? Would that be enough to convince Tom Segura to let me photograph him? And more importantly, how was I even going to make sure that he knew what I was doing? There's a lot of moving parts here, so just try and stick with me. This is going to be a long one, but I think it'll be interesting. First, I had to decide on a route. Now, I didn't want to walk on highways, obviously, because that's super dangerous. And I didn't want to walk on super remote roads either, because I still wanted to have amenities at my fingertips, right? I wanted to be able to stop at gas stations and restaurants and convenience stores, that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, I was going to bring water with me, I was going to bring food, but not enough for the whole trip. So convenience mattered. Secondly, and the biggest crux of all of this, how was I going to get Tom to see this? How was I going to get it in front of him? I really wasn't totally sure. But what I started with is reels. I made 5 Instagram reels over about a 40-day period where I announced what I was going to do. The first reel was basically me just saying like, hey, I'm doing this insane thing. I'm going to walk all the way to Buffalo. If you want to follow along, you can do it here. The second reel was answering some questions that I got from that first reel. Things like, why the hell would you do this? Where are you going to stay? What are you going to eat? What gear are you going to bring? That sort of stuff. And the third reel, and probably the most important reel, is where I reached out to Sean Nix, who is Tom Segura's photographer. I was hoping that photographer to photographer, I could talk to him a little bit, and I wanted 2 things to come of this. Number 1, I wanted him to see it, and I wanted him to know that this is something I was doing. And number 2, I wanted him to know that I really respected his role as Tom's photographer, and I was not trying to get in front of that in any way, shape, or form. As somebody who is a photographer for a living, I wanted to show him that I appreciate what he does, and I absolutely was not trying to put him in a position where he had to say yes to something or try and make something happen for me that wasn't realistic or anything. I wanted him to be aware of it, but I didn't want him to think that I was depending on him solely to make this happen. I was still going to put in the work, and that's what mattered. But did the reels work? Did they get Tom's attention? No, they didn't. But I was able to get in front of Sean, which was great. Sean and I had a quick back and forth, and he was supportive of the idea, and that was basically it. We didn't talk much right up until about the day before the walk, where I sent him the last reel, and I said, hey man, in about 24 hours, I'm going to be doing this walk if you care to follow along. Again, he was very supportive, very kind, and that kind of began the conversation between him and I that lasted throughout the entire walk. He was super supportive, and I think he respected what I was doing as somebody who's an athlete himself and as a photographer. It's not like we started a huge friendship all of a sudden, but he was positive, and overall, I think what I was able to do was show him I'm not a complete psychopath, and that I wasn't just some desperate dude to get in with a famous person or something like that. More on that later. So it's 24 hours before the walk. I sent Sean this message. He reacted positively. Everything was looking up. But let's put a whole pin in the like Sean Tom thing, because in reality, none of this matters if I didn't walk the 100 miles. So Let's dive into that a little deeper. Originally, my plan was to start on Tuesday, September 24th and walk between 50 to 60 kilometers every day until I got there. That would give me 3 very full days of walking with like an entire day in Buffalo before the show. Unfortunately, the weather had a different idea. See, it started calling for rain and we got quite a bit of rain on that Tuesday, and I decided to push it a day. That ended up not mattering all that much because it turned out the Wednesday was even more rain. And so I was going to start in rain no matter what I did. Still, I'd rather walk more miles than be in a lot of rain, but it didn't really work out that way. And I ended up having to make a decision. See, I decided to swap out the shoes I was wearing. Originally, I was going to wear a pair of trail running shoes, and I swapped those out for a slightly more hiking style shoe that was waterproof. This proved to be the single biggest mistake I made on this entire trip, and we'll get there. So at this point, I think it's best to just let Walking Chris take over. Also, for anyone who doesn't feel like following along, I have put chapter markers in here. You can see day 1, day 2, day 3, the show, aftermath, all that kind of shit if you want. So, but you know, what else are you doing? You got time. We all have time. We don't have that much time. We all have time. Love you. Bye. Basically, the second I got out of town, it started raining. A little heavier, not super heavy, but just a little bit more. I've got on rain pants and like a waterproof jacket, both great, but the problem is that when it gets warm, like it already is today, not super warm, but not cold. So when it gets warm, it just kind of, you know, your body temperature rises, but you can't air out at all because it's waterproof. So you're kind of just stuck in your sweat. So the only option really is to just be sweaty and feel gross, or to slow down so that you're not sweating. But because we had to start an hour and a half late today because of the rain, I don't really have an option to slow down if I want to get there at a decent time. So yeah, kind of stuck with that. We're coming up on like 4.5K. I don't know what that is in miles. But this is a route that I normally run. And normally I would be here at this point at about 20 minutes. And we're here at like 42 minutes. Man, walking so slow. For some reason, this field in the summer, a couple summers ago, every time I ran by it, smelled like hot cross buns. Okay, so we're on a road I'm not particularly stoked for. I've run it a bunch of times. It's always pretty tight and pretty busy, especially this time of day. We're like right at, I guess, rush hour. So there's just a lot of trucks, a lot of like transport trucks go through here. Whoa, that's pretty. So, and it's just like tight shoulders and shit like that. So probably not a lot of photos on this stretch because I gotta kind of pay attention. There's a big ass truck coming. So I'm gonna jump over here and you can take a look at it. Holy shit. My God. I don't know what's gonna happen here because this road is closed for construction, but for me to go around it is gonna add like 4K to my walk, which I am not willing to do considering how far I have to walk today. So they're working up here, so I'm gonna have to just hope they don't say anything, and if they do, I'm gonna have to come up with some ridiculous sort of way to describe what I'm doing that's gonna allow me to continue to walk and hope for the best. So wish me luck. So basically I just played dumb and he looked at me like I was an idiot, and that's fine because hey, I am an idiot. And now I get to walk through. All right, so we're only like 4.5 hours in, 26.5 kilometers. Obviously I feel fine because it's only 4 hours in, but I would say the one hard thing so far is just the fucking sound of the cars. I'm not even scared of the cars, like I'm not worried about getting hit or anything like that. I've got enough room behind me, but just like, it's just so loud. And I mean, I guess I could just put headphones in and that would help, but I don't know. I think that's what's gonna get to me, and honestly, that's what my buddy Christy was like, telling me the same thing. She's done like 200 milers and stuff. And that's what she was saying. It's just like, that's what's gonna bother you the most, is the cars, like the sound of the cars. And I think so far that's accurate. So yeah, hopefully I get some quieter stretches at some point soon. All right, so we're actually going to walk on a trail for a bit, which is nice. It's still right by the road, so it's still loud as fuck, but at least we're on a trail. You ready to hear how fucking stupid I am? So I calculated this entire thing wrong. It's still the same distance, but my days are gonna take a lot longer than I thought, because I calculated everything at 5 kilometers an hour, or at least I thought I did. And I was like, hey, 75 kilometers is gonna be just over 12 hours, 5 kilometers an hour. But I was doing the math for 6 kilometers, which would put me at 12 hours at 72 kilometers. So about 12 and a half hours of walking at 6 kilometers an hour. It's not that big a deal in the sense that like it's only 1 kilometer per hour difference, but over time it adds up to being an extra 3 hours of walking. So instead of having a 12-hour walk today, I have a 15-hour walk, more or less. So we're in Cambridge. I used to live in Cambridge. I liked living in Cambridge. I'd like to live in Cambridge again one day. There's a bell tower. What do we think? Do we think dinner tonight should be shawarma? Well, for me, falafel or burrito. I tend to lean towards burrito lately, but I can be convinced. First bar of the day. First bite. Superfood Slam from Pro Bar. Better than the other flavor I've had from them. The peanut butter chocolate one's obviously delicious. The other, like, fruits and berries one is not the best. I'm gonna have to eat a few of those next couple days, but this is pretty good. Hello. So we are officially entering the city of Hamilton, which is cool because I am staying in Hamilton, which means we're in the city I get to stay in tonight. And so it's really fun because you see this sign here that says City of Hamilton with the population, and you're like, sick, I'm in Hamilton. And then there's a little sign down here, and that sign says Hamilton downtown, 33 kilometers, and you're like, oh. So I've walked 41 kilometers. I have to walk another 33 kilometers before I get to where I'm actually staying. It's a cool little trick they do with the signs here. And actually, technically, you know, you see that sign, then you're like, oh, cool, Hamilton. And then you see another sign for Flamborough, and you're like, oh, I'm actually in. Is Flamborough like a city within a city? Is this like Vatican kind of situation? I don't know. 47 kilometers, 8 hours in, and I am tired. And I'm not hungry, but I should be, which means I should probably drink more water. So I'm gonna stop and drink more water and start listening to some music, because up to now I have not listened to any music, and I think it would help. I completely mismanaged my timeline, and I'm gonna get there pretty late tonight, and I just kind of gotta keep moving. I want to stop and take some photos. Honestly, I want to stop and take a rest, but I don't think there's time for either of those things, which is such a bummer because it would be nice if there was. It's getting kind of hot too, so I don't know, like, I'm feeling a little frustrated with myself for messing things up a little bit and not giving myself as much time, and I'm hoping that I'm still, you know, trying to get some footage at least to make things a little more interesting, but it's hard to say. Like, how do you make it? I mean, this is what I'm doing. That's literally it. Like, nothing interesting's happening, nothing cool is happening. I'm not like stumbling upon crazy cool shit because I'm not on like a wild trail or something. I'm just seeing a lot of that. But like, that's kind of the reality of doing something like this, right? Most of it is just this. So check it out. We're in Dundas. We're almost there. We're like 7K away, 7 kilometers away, something like that. And then I get to lie down. Well, no, actually then I'm gonna do some yoga and I'm going to stretch and take a shower. That's the plan. This is the part of the walk that sucks, where you're so close, but it's still like an hour away, because that's just how long it takes to fucking walk everywhere. So, we had quite the day. I can't fathom the blisters on the back of my feet. I spent the first like 35K or 30K in a pair of Lone Peak all-weather mids from Ultra, and I want to like that shoe, but I just can't. It wrecked my feet. I've never seen blisters this bad on my heels before. Then I switched over to the Olympus 6 from Ultra, and they were incredible. So good sign for tomorrow. I don't know what I should do about these, if I should pop them, if I should let them be. I don't know. Maybe I have to do some research. So we did 77.64 kilometers, 13 hours and 55 minutes, and that's with stops. So that's like anytime I stopped, I just kept the watch going for an average speed of 5.6 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is in miles. Biggest trouble today was not drinking enough water, not eating enough food. I gotta figure that out for tomorrow for sure. So I'll be trying to stuff my face a little bit more tomorrow. And every time I did that, I felt better, which is nice because that doesn't always happen with running. Sometimes you hit a wall and you hit it and it's done, but felt pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs and hang out with my cousin now, do some laundry, and eat a bunch of food. I'll see you in the morning. All right, so here we are, day 2. Good morning. Really seeing what the GoPro can do in low light, which is pretty abominable. All right, so what's today? Today is a little shorter than I thought. It's 55 kilometers, basically on 2 roads for like 49 of those kilometers. Then I cut down a little bit, but it's gonna be a lot of walking on the same road. I'm hoping it's a little smoother than yesterday. The name of the game today is gonna be doing more food, more water, more electrolytes, trying to keep that shit together because I definitely had some harder moments yesterday because I wasn't paying attention to that, and it just got warmer than I thought it was. So that's what we're gonna kind of try and focus on. So I'm gonna go walk in the dark for a while with my cool headlamp. It is 6:30 in the morning right now, and that dude is mowing the lawn. That's cool. That's a nice way to be. Jesus Christ. There's people right here. People right here. What is he doing? Beautiful sunrise today. It's looking like, can't really see it from here, but as I crossed the last street, I could see that there's some nice light coming up, which means it's probably gonna slow my pace a little bit because I'm gonna wanna take photos. GoPro makes it look a lot brighter than it is right now, in exchange for terrible quality video, I guess. But I haven't really had to use this because I've been on a dreamy little sidewalk. Check this out. Wasn't expecting this. This is a treat. Got myself a sidewalk. It's the little things, you know? So we made it out of Grimsby and we are officially in wine country, Niagara region wine country. So it should be a very pretty walk today. I basically walk right through wine country until I get to Niagara Falls, which is really nice. And then I collapse. No more sidewalk. We are now dealing with dirt roads, which means lots of little things in my shoes. But hey, who am I to complain? Just a guy on a walk. Something like that. See those chairs over there? That looks so nice. So I don't know exactly where we are. We're somewhere between Jordan, Ontario, and St. Catharines. And we're on a really nice paved road. Asphalt, so it's a little softer. So that's good. Lots of twists and turns. So it's a little dicey because there's not much of a side to the road here. So I probably shouldn't be GoProing. So I'm gonna stop. Bye. I have no idea where I am. I don't know what town this is. But we've turned onto this road. And what's nice is I was on that road for like 3 or 4 hours. There's something weirdly rejuvenating about like getting onto a new road after you've been on one road for so long. So we just jet down here, take another left, and then we're on another road for a long time. But still, there's something that kind of like fuels you and gets you kind of into it again when you get to make some turns, which is such a minimal amount of, you know, like, it's not like that's a huge feat or accomplishment, but it helps. Little things. So I don't know where I am right now. I don't know what town I'm in. I think Thorold? I don't know. But it's very sunny, getting pretty hot. But we only have another 12K or thereabouts to go, so easy peasy. We're simple. There's Jack Skellington. See that guy? Probably one of the more intense parts of this entire walk. Going through that shit. It's so loud, so windy. Not dangerous at least, which is nice. I guess unless I got trapped in it, in which case I'd be exceedingly dangerous. So there's that. So one of my blisters just popped, and I felt the whole thing. Like release, and it just, I looked at my sock and it was literally like my entire half of my sock was just wet from the like blister. That's so gross. It's so gross. Looks so gnarly. All right, so blisters popped, put on a new pair of socks. Wildly painful. I'm sure the pain will subside, but right now I'm like hobbling because every step is like shooting pain up my leg, like into like kind of just up my calf. So that's cool. Yeah, getting a lot of stares from people on the side of the road while I was fixing myself because they were like, is this just some, what's going on the side of the road here? They're passing through and they're just like, who's this dude? What's he doing? Why's he got his socks off? And yeah, so we're redirecting a little bit. We're gonna walk straight to a Shoppers Drug Mart, which is gonna get some polysporin and all that kind of shit. See if we can't fix it a little bit for tomorrow. And I guess, you know, the other one's bound to pop at some point. I guess it'd be nice if it popped. No, I don't know if I want both my feet feeling this way. I don't know what's better. If it pops tonight and I can try and dress it and fix it, or what, but god damn. That shit was gnarly. Last day, it's 5 o'clock, and my feet hurt so much. But hey, it's only 35K today, so should be breezy. My feet actually felt pretty good this morning until I put my shoes on. Also, I don't know if it was a good idea or a bad idea, but I had a coffee, and it's been like 3 or 4 months since I've had a cup of coffee. I feel insane right now. Like, I have lots of energy, but it's mostly just anxiety. So I'm hoping that just turns into something positive. But feet are wrapped up. Got some Advil in me, some coffee. It's not how I recommend you treat your body, but it's what we gotta do. So we're gonna walk out the door soon.
And one of the most frustrating parts, waiting for your GPS. Good to go. All right. Oh, fuck, this hurts. I don't know if I should have put bandages on or what, but goddamn. Sun's out. Sun is out. And we are on our way to Fort Erie, which is where we're gonna cross at the Peace Bridge. And it's been a pretty smooth morning. It's been chill. It's not so bad. I'm excited to be done though. I'm at that point where I'm like, all right, let's just get this over with. Let's finish this up and let's get to Buffalo and get a coffee. All right. So we've got 12 kilometers, which is like around, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles, something like that left. We should be at the bridge to cross over into Buffalo in about 6 kilometers, and that'll be the big test insofar as whether or not we actually get across. I don't know why they wouldn't, but you know, it's obviously like the biggest barrier to this whole thing is whether or not they let me. I've never walked across the border before, so I don't really know what it entails. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know if they're going to be super intense about it. I'm hoping if I just tell them what I'm doing, like, hey, I'm just doing this big walk and I'm ending it here because I'm going to see this comedy show, and I just kind of like play it off as this big, well, not play it off, it's what's actually happening, but just tell them it's just this big dumb fun experience I'm having. I'm hoping that'll just make them like, oh, that's funny, that's cool, have fun. And I got the documents to prove it, so fingers crossed. All right, so we're like 2K away from the Peace Bridge where we can get across and yeah, be in Buffalo. I took this route down Central Ave instead of following the water because it was called Central Ave. I was like, Central, it's gonna be some things I can see. Maybe I can stop in and grab like water somewhere or something, and there's literally nothing. I don't know why it's called Central. It does not feel central. So that was a little anticlimactic. I didn't realize I have to cross the bridge first. I thought we did it here, that this was customs. No wonder like Google Maps was telling me I had to walk further. So I'm gonna walk this big long bridge now. Peace Bridge.
How's it going?
Hey, good, how are you?
Good, how can I help you?
I am going to a comedy show tonight in Buffalo.
Okay. Who are you seeing?
Tom Segura.
Oh, is he here tonight?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him. Are you the only one that was back here?
Just me, yeah.
Okay. Where's he performing at?
KeyBank Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long are you staying?
Just tonight. I'm meeting my girlfriend there, and then we're staying the night and then coming
Does your
back.
girlfriend live in the U.S. or?
No, we're both from Canada.
Okay. You just walking over or?
So, yeah, I'm an ultra marathoner, so I did 100 miles to get here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Well, it'll be 100 miles when I hit the KeyBank Center, so I'm close.
I got you.
Yeah.
You need to go out that red X sign, okay?
Beauty. All right, thank you so much.
Yep, take care.
All right, cheers. All right, we're through. I guess we go this way? I don't really know. Well, he let me through. That was nice. That's it. That's where we're walking to. We're so close. Coming? Good.
Look at your glasses! They look so good! Whoa! We're here!
You made it!
Thank fucking God. Get here, I want a kiss.
Hi, baby.
Hi. Okay, I gotta.
Congratulations.
I haven't done yet. I gotta hit it. I need you to film me. Alright, I guess we'll.
Where are you gonna...
Just to here, I think. Ready? Yeah! It's over. That's nice.
You stop your watch?
Yeah, it's done. Save. Cool.
How you feeling?
Great. Let's go to Target. Ooh. We made it. Okay, I'm gonna put my bag down.
Okay, so I walked 100 miles. I walked 100 miles to come see Tom Segura. I want to say thank you to Sean. You've been so supportive this whole time. It's really cool that you've just been so willing to be like supportive and helpful throughout this. I haven't asked for anything up to this point because I wanted to put my money where my mouth was. I wanted to actually get here, and this is where I just want to say, Tom, I want to take a photo. I'd love to, I don't know, shoot one of your shows one day with Sean maybe, or something. I want to take a portrait. I've done a lot to get here, but I understand it might be too late this time around, but maybe one day we can make it happen. Here's hoping. So we're gonna go to Target now, or something that Canadians do when they come to the States. Okay, keep feathering. Hello there. All right, so we're cleaned up. My feet are pretty wrecked. Blisters on both heels that are pretty huge and pretty gnarly. Both popped currently, which makes them super sensitive. Probably shouldn't have popped them, but kind of had to at the same time. Other than that, I feel pretty all right. If I could walk more normally, I think I would be okay. Definitely still tight in a bunch of areas, and I mean, it's only been like 4 hours, so that's probably why. Okay, so the question then is, did it work? Like, did walking 100 miles get me a portrait of Tom Segura? And as it stands, the answer is no. Which sucks, because this was a long fucking way to walk. But the question of whether I actually thought it would work is important to sort of break down a little bit too, because I didn't. He's one of the most famous comedians in the world, and if you could just walk for a while and get in with him, like, I mean, that's not how the world works, right? It has been cool that I've been talking so much with Sean, who is his tour photographer, and I will say that it definitely made me feel hopeful that it could work, but the reality is sort of setting in that that's not going to happen. So, but we still get to go to the show. We're still going to go to the show and have a great time. I'm super excited. I've been wanting to see him perform live forever. I remember basically walking into, I think it was either the Comedy Store, I think it was the Comedy Store in like 2012, when he had like 30 seconds left of a set, and by the time we sat down, he was done. And that's the closest I've gotten to actually seeing him live. So that'll be rad. We're going to go have some dinner, have a great time. I have 2 weddings to shoot this weekend, so we got to get back early anyways. And yeah. Impossible Portrait Project, Part 1, first episode. A decided failure as it stands. But I got to push myself in a way that I haven't done in a really long time. It's the farthest I've ever walked for sure. I've never done a 100-miler race before. This is the farthest distance I've ever propelled myself in one sort of go. It was broken up over the 2.5 days, but still. So I'm proud of myself. I think it's cool. I think it's fun to go for something that matters to you and something that you care about. And we're just gonna go a fun night. And I'll bring the GoPro and I'll show some clips and it'll be great. And more importantly, I'm here with my partner, Katie, and she showed up for me in such a huge way with all this. And I'm just glad I get to share with her. So, time to go. All right.
Let's go get sizzled. Is that what people say here? Oh, it's also a massage parlor. That's not weird. Potato chips were good.
Yeah.
Fries were really good. My meal was 10 out of 10. I feel like Kay's was like a 6.5 out of 10.
I went for chicken nuggets because it was all like buttermilk batter, and I was like, ooh, yum. And then it was very crispy and a little bit burnt. And you know, when you eat Captain Crunch and the roof of your mouth.
You can swear on my channel.
What swear word was I supposed to use?
Fuck up? When it fucks up the roof of your mouth?
That's not even what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like shreds the roof of your
Hey,
mouth.
we have an idea. We want to start a YouTube channel where we eat vegan food together. I know it sounds dumb when I say it like that, but I think it'd be fun. What do you guys think? Should we do it? I think we should do it. Should we tell them the name?
No, I want to steal it.
Okay, it's a really good name, so I think that's why we want to do it. 8-minute walk? I've done so many minutes. Oh, okay, so I obviously can't bring this into the show. So we're gonna go watch Tom Segura be funny and Kirk Fox be funny and sit for a long time and then have trouble getting up. Well, I will.
And then we're gonna get ice cream.
Fuck yeah. We're gonna get ice cream somewhere. Sick. Peace.
So we went in, we got to the show. We ended up getting better tickets than we originally had. They moved us to another section, which was nice. And we sat down. I sent a message to Sean. I just said this. I said, hey, man, just got here. Pretty cool to see your photos on merch, hey? Enjoy the show. That was it. I wasn't going to ask for anything anymore. I had already put out my formal ask. I made a rule with myself. I wasn't going to ask for something more than once. They knew what I wanted. They knew what I went through to get here. And if this was going to happen, it was going to happen because they respected it and they appreciated it, not because I was going to barrage them with 50 messages asking to make it happen. I had already come to the conclusion that it wasn't going to work, and that was fine. I accepted that fate. He messaged me back and he said this. Where are you sitting? Did you bring your camera? Dude. Dude, come on. What a message, right? I messaged back and I said, 103 section, they wouldn't let me bring a camera in. And silence from his side for a couple minutes. I'm gonna let Chris at the show jump in here for a sec just to give you a bit of a temperature reading on how I was feeling.
Okay, quick. I just got a message. We're sitting at the show. It starts in like 5 minutes. I just got a message from his photographer asking where I'm seated and if I brought my camera, which I didn't because I can't bring a camera in here because I don't have like a press pass or anything. So I got like 5 minutes before I had to put my phone away. This is so stressful.
So at this point, Katie and I were reeling a little bit because we were like, what do? We got a couple minutes before the show starts, and then I have to put my phone away because you can't have your phone out, you can't be recording, that kind of thing. She was like, why don't you go wait outside and see if he messages you back, because the worst thing would be like missing this, right? And just as we're contemplating what to do, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, I don't know, like he didn't message me back. I think what he did message back, he said, damn. That's not like wide open, you know? I didn't know what to think about that. I just thought like, yeah, damn, you're right. You're right, damn. That's an easy way to put it. We're sitting there. It's like 5 minutes before the show. We're getting nervous, but I'm also just like, whatever. It is what it is. And then I see Sean walking towards me. He's coming up. He's looking around. He sees me in the crowd, and he comes up to our area. I introduce myself. We say what's up. We start talking about running and high rocks and training and all this stuff. And it was just like a nice conversation, honestly. And then right before he's about to head back to shoot the show, he pulls these out of his pocket. Backstage passes. He says, hey, meet me over there. You see that curtain over there? Just come to there at the end of the show these, and we'll get you back there. You might not be able to get your photo, but hey, you could still meet Tom. I played it off. I was like, cool, man. Cool. Yeah. 100%. That's what's up. Let's do it. Cool. He walked away, and then I go back to the seat, and I'm like, so we're going to go meet Tom after the show. Yeah, we're going to meet Tom after the show. This thing that I just walked 100 miles to do is actually going to happen. And then we just sat back, and we enjoyed the show. Spent an hour and a half laughing at some amazing comedians and preparing for getting to go do the thing that we came here to do. So we go backstage. We get to this area where we're waiting, and the guy says, I'll go grab Sean for you. Sean walks by a minute later, and he's like, yo, hold up. I'll be right back. As he's walking by, this other guy walks by, and he goes, are you the guy who walked 100 miles? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he went, cool, and walked away. It was a very weird moment to be. We're like sitting in the backstage at the KeyBank Center where the Buffalo Sabres play. We're looking at all these funny like concert and hockey photos that they have lining everything, chatting away. And then all of a sudden, Sean turns the corner and he's like, Chris, what's up? And I look over next to him and it's Tom Segura. And Tom shakes my hand and says, what's up? Then he looks at Katie and he says, what's wrong with this guy? She laughs and she's like, I don't know. And we proceeded to have a super nice conversation. We talked a little bit about, the whole walk and ultra endurance stuff. We talked about tattoos. We talked about the show. We talked about a few different things. And then Sean was like, well, you guys probably want a photo together, right? So we went around the corner into the better light. We're at a stadium, so there's no good light. And we snapped a few photos of me and Tom together, which was awesome. Tom and I kept talking after that, and Katie ended up talking with Sean for a little while. We just had like a super nice chat. It was very relaxed, very simple, nothing crazy, but I got to meet the dude. I got to shake his hand and say thank you for all the humor and joy that he's brought to my life, and a huge thank you to him for actually allowing me to meet him. Did I get the photo though? That's the big question. Did I get to take his portrait? Kind of. I got to take it. See, I didn't have my camera with me, so I had to settle for an iPhone photo. And I didn't even use portrait mode because, ultimately, the whole point of this was to make this happen and get a great portrait. And I just wasn't about to do that with a phone. What was cool, though, was I was able to connect with Sean. We were able to talk more, and it looks like there might be some opportunity in the future to actually make this happen. So, is this a success? Yeah, I think it is. It's maybe not exactly how I thought it would happen. But, to be honest, I didn't even think it would happen at all. So, is it a success? I'm going to say, mostly. I'm going to say mostly, yeah. The Impossible Portrait, Part 1, Tom Segura, was a success. With an asterisk, maybe. But still technically got the photo, right? Something really, really important I want to say here is I already did this, so it's not going to work for you. One of the most important things for me was to make sure that I made people very aware that you can't just do something ridiculous and expect people to give you what you want. This is a very busy, very famous person. And yeah, I did something really big. It didn't mean that he had a responsibility to do anything. Frankly, it's actually kind of nuts that he did because he had no idea who I was. And I think that's actually why I didn't hear much from Sean for the bulk of everything, because I think he was vetting me. I think he was saying, is this dude a psycho? Is he a freak? Is he going to try and hurt Tom? Or is he going to kidnap him and take him to a basement? Where are the bodies? Where are the bodies, gee? Anyways, I digress. What I'm trying to say is the reason this worked is not because I did something stupid and ridiculous. The reason this worked is because it came from a true, honest place. I put in the hard work to get the thing I wanted, and I think I was successful. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for your dreams and your aspirations and your goals? It means that you can't be scared to do the hard work. This version of the hard work is fun for YouTube and stuff like that, but this isn't the real work. The real work is for me building a strong portrait portfolio so that in the future, people like this want me to photograph them. That's the real work. So what's the real work for you? Let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. And I guess time to move on to part 2, which is going to be photographing Josh Ritter. So if you know Josh Ritter, if you can get me in with him, or you have any ideas of how I should go about it, let me know. And just let anything else know in the comments, because this was a big one for me, and I'd love to hear what you think. All right, peace.